Okay, for today it's just exceptional that we have this class on Google Meet, just because in model that one was not added already on my courses. So for the next time, I think that we shall connect on module. Welcome to discuss research methods, a comprehensive introduction to systematic inquiry research types and scientific process. I'm Dr. Fosin Kochi. I'm a researcher in applied artificial intelligence. I have a record of 6 years of research, mainly in the domain of digital health. I've worked on cardiovascular disease, yes, but I have a PhD in computer science, but I've worked on cardiovascular disease. The main goal of my research was to find or to build a model to assist cardiologists in diagnosing arrhythmia or some other cardiovascular dysfunctions. I've published several papers in well-known and reputable scientific journal. I think that's all from me. So for this lecture on research methods, I really want us to work on maybe a draft of paper from the beginning to the end. The end is what? The end is the publication of that paper. So I want us to go through that process, starting from finding a problem to submitting the paper to a scientific journal. That is my desire for this course. Okay, before talking about looking about the main subject of today, this is a result of the survey I've just shared in the WhatsApp group, and based on the results, we have considered most of the participants of this course are doing something related to health. That's good, something related to health. Only 22% are in the information and technology. Means that we will try to focus mainly on technology and health. That's what we will try to do. Focus on it, technology and health. It means that all our examples will be based on that technology, either technology or application of technology in the healthcare domain. Also, based on the survey, most of the participants are English speakers. Only 22% are French speakers. But that's also, let's say that that means that the main language of instruction for this course will be English. But if you are comfortable in French and you want to understand and you want me to maybe explain something in French, you can just let me know that. Even me, I'm not yet completely bilingual. I'm not completely bilingual, but I speak both English and French. I say that I'm a native speaker of French. because I've just learned English when I was doing my PhD. So for English speakers, I just apologize for any maybe flaws, uh, errors that in grammar, maybe also in pronunciation. Yes, I'm just in the mood of learning it. Okay, and also the survey with the result of the survey, we find that we are almost everyone here know how to use Excel, but no in vivo, Python. Some of us know how to use SPSS, but while Excel is good, Excel is very pretty good, but I will advise you to learn at least maybe SPSS or R or Python because Excel is limited. Excel is very limited. When you work with a lot of data, when you have a huge amount or a large data set that you want to analyze, and you will have some difficulties, face some difficulty, you will face some difficulties in Excel and also in SPSS. But in Python with how we call that library, I think is with Panda. Yes, with Panda, you can work on very large data sets. Yes, that's my advice. Even me, I'm working with Excel, but when it's come to maybe analyze large amount of data, I'm working with MATLAB. With MATLAB, yes, I'm working with MATLAB. Excel is just for graphs, yes, for graphs, for charts, and also some tables. But the analysis is made with MATLAB or Python. So that is my advice for you. Okay, why this course? Now we are looking at the goals, the objectives of this course. The first purpose of this course, in this course we will define and explain the fundamental principles of scientific research. We distinguish amongst various types, methods, and designs of ICT research, but not really ICT research, let's say, of research globally in its global form. We will identify research problem and formulate clear hypotheses, conduct comprehensive literature review, and identify research gaps using digital tools, apply quantitative and qualitative research methods appropriately, use ICT research tools for data collection, modeling, and analysis, demonstrate awareness of critical issues and integrity in research, write, present, and publish research findings effectively. That's why I've said that, at the interest I've said that I want us to at least publish, conduct a research from the beginning to the end. From the beginning is that we have to find the research question, and the end is what is a report, the findings, the result, how to present the result, how to publish, maybe write a research paper or an article or something like that. Okay. The main text books that we'll be using During this course, we have two main textbooks which are freely available on the web. I think that's at the end of this lecture, of this class, I will just share it on WhatsApp if you are unable to find it or to download it. We have the first book by Oderi, C.R. Oderi, Research Methodology, Methods and Techniques, second revised version. And here the second book here is Research Design, Qualitative, Quantitative, and Mixed Methods Approaches. Okay. Now let's go to the first chapter, Introduction to Research, Methodology, and Emerging Trends. In this chapter, we see what is research, the definition of research, what research is not, and what's the real meaning of research, the goal of research, different types of research, different research approaches. Okay. Now, what research is not. What research is not. Many people misunderstand what research really means. Many people. And we are looking about common misconception of research. We are looking at three misconceptions of research here. The first misconception of research: many think that research is gathering information. When we want to gather information, sometimes we go to libraries or maybe house internet. But research is not just gathering information. Let's take this example. For example, let's say that a student collects facts about malaria. What are some facts about malaria that you know? Facts about malaria. You can help us. What are some facts about malaria? Yes, I'm waiting for you. Let's have some exchange. What are some facts about malaria? Malaria is? Yes, that's one of the facts. What can we have again? Like as facts about malaria. Yes, spare two mosquito bites. Yes. Who else can try to give us some facts about malaria? No one. Okay. Means that we don't know what malaria is, or we don't know facts the facts about malaria. No, I prefer another person. I prefer another person to talk. We have at least 9 here in this meeting, so everyone is free to talk. We are in a graduated class, in postgraduate class. So I think that we are all free to speak. Yes, it can be cured. Yes. Another fact. Yes, Mohammed. Ok, oui, plus l'Afrique et l'Asie. Et pourquoi? Ça, c'est un autre fait. Pourquoi aussi? Why? Why does malaria just affects Asia and Africa? That's another fact like that. Yes, Bernadette. Yes. Africa and Asia. Sorry? Yes, that is it. Yes. Those are tropical. We have a tropical climate which favorize the growth of the mosquitoes. Mosquito is a tropical. It's a tropical. We can say it like that. It's a tropical. Just live in tropical area. Yes. Yes. What is another fact about malaria? We are gathering information like that. Another fact. Let's summarize what we have already. We know that malaria can kill children that are below 5. Malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. Uh, Malaria is a tropical disease. Yes, we have 3 facts about malaria. Who can add the fourth one? Yes, yes. Mosquito nets. Okay. Yes, it's too bad. Is that really a kind of prevention? Because I think that when we talk about prevention, is like because when we talk about, for example, about vaccines, that is kind of preventive. Can we talk about prevention? Yes, yes. Yes, that's prevention measure. Yes, it's true. Okay. What we okay, we just collected facts, which are informations about malaria. Malaria can kill children. Malaria is transmitted through mosquitoes. Malaria is a tropical disease. Malaria can be prevented. Those are information. If anyone wants those information, he can find them. He can find them. Means that we have just gathered information, but we didn't interpret it or analyze them. We didn't get any analysis or any interpretation. That's why that was just information, gathering information. Finding a fact is just information. Discovery, that is not a research. So if we were new to those facts, we have just discovered them. We have just discovered them. We didn't make any research. Okay. The second misconception, imaging for information. What is imaging? Imaging is just undirected search. Undirected search is searching for something without any process or without that is a search that is not systematic. Yes, imaging search. Imaging information. We say that research is not merely imaging around for hard to locate information. For example, let's say that a doctor looks to several patient records with similar symptoms to determine the best treatment for a new patient. Though the work that he is doing is I can say it's a good job, but that's not the research. Why? Because he is just searching inside existing data. He is not discovering new knowledge. What he will discover is just something that is already known. Yes, it's just that we discover something that is known already. So that is not research. Let's look at the third misconception, transporting facts. Research is not merely transporting facts from one location or one domain to another domain, or let's say research. Okay, let's say this example. For example, a medical student reads several articles about the causes of diabetes and then writes a research paper summarizing what different experts have said. Summarizing maybe information that you have gathered is not research. That's just the beginning of the research. But what's making a research is the analysis and interpretation. That you will have to do. You will have to analyze the findings of those researchers and interpret them based maybe on new findings or new methods or maybe new technologies. Means that compilation is different from research. In true research, we have to interpret and draw out conclusions from data. Okay. If you pay attention those three misconceptions, you'll realize that the missing element was the interpretation. With genuine research always asks question, what do these facts mean? It goes beyond summary to analysis and conclusion. And without interpretation, research remains incomplete, as I've said earlier. Now, this is brief summary. The summary. Research is not gathering information. It's not rummaging for data. It's not transporting facts from a domain to another domain. In research, we have to ask ourselves questions. We have to interpret data. We have to draw new conclusions from those data. Okay. Now, formally, research is systematic and structured inquiry designed to generate new knowledge, or maybe test theories, or solve practical problems. It involves careful planning, rigorous methodology, and objective analysis. At its core, research is about asking meaningful questions and seeking reliable answers through evidence-based investigation. Here we have three keywords. We have meaningful questions. We have seeking reliable answers, and we have evidence-based investigations. So the key characteristics of the research, we have the research should be systematic and organized. Sometime before conducting a research, you have first to know how to plan a research plan. How will you, or maybe sometimes it's a research proposal, how you will be conducting your research, and what are the expected results, what are the methodologies that you'll be using. That's the systematic part of the research. It's organized. Yes. We have also empirical evidence collection. Empirical means that we have to make some experimentations. We have logical reasoning and analysis. We have replicable and transparent methods. That's very important. And that's even the main reason we write article or research paper for. That's why we write article for other researchers to replicate what we did. So whenever you are conducting a research, you have to make sure that your research is replicable and you have transparent methods. So you are not hiding some information. Means that if you have conducted a research and you have published a paper. If another researcher, maybe in Asia or USA, download your paper and want to do the same research by following the step that you have followed, he should have at least, let me say, 80% of your conclusions. Yes, 80% of your conclusions. So we don't hide information or methodologies. But sometimes, um, if you want to hide your methodology, maybe you have discovered a new treatment, and you want to, let's say, you want to have or to gain a lot of money with that new treatment. You don't have to publish it. You can just publish a pattern. You can just publish a pattern. In a pattern, you don't have to disclose everything you did, because that is for profit. Okay, now let's look at the goals of research. The goals of research. What are the goals of research? The first goal of research is we conduct research to generate new knowledge, discovering new facts, discovering new theories, and also understanding about the world around us via systematic investigations. The second purpose of research is to solve problems in our environments, in our societies. We have a lot of problems or challenges, and sometimes we have to we should make some research. We have to go through researching, yes, plan some research and make some investigation and find solution to those problems or challenge that people around us are facing. The the third goal of research is to take informed decision. Take informed decision. We sometimes we have what we call policy makers. We have to take or stakeholders. Whenever they need to take some decision, the research should be conducted. So here, providing reliable data and insights that guide policy, practice, and strategic choices across sectors. Why research matters? Okay. Research matters because it's only through research that innovation let me say, it's only through research that we have innovation. You can say that innovation is the child of research. Research fuels technological advances, medical breakthroughs, and creative solutions that transform industries and improve quality of life. So it's driving innovation, informing policy, and also have societal impact. Yes, that is that is directly linked to the goals of research. Okay, now we'll be looking at the approaches of research. We have two main approaches to research. The first one is quantitative approach. The second is qualitative approach. And to differentiate those approach, we can look at how they collect the data, how they analyze and interpret them. Okay, quantitative approach. In quantitative approach, quantitative uh, is derived from quantity, which involves data in numerical form. So in quantitative approach, we have to work with a lot of numbers. Also in quantitative approach, we have to work with statistics, statistical analysis. That's where you will see some kind, or we say statistic tests like K-square, N-over, like the student test, and so on, which are hypothesis tests. And thirdly, a quantitative approach is conducted in a formal and structured way. Inside quantitative approach, we have three subtypes. We have the inferential research, we have the experimental research, and we have the simulation research. Let's look at the first subtype, the inferential approach. Okay, in the inferential approach, we have to form a data. We have to form a database. Yeah, we have to form a database from sample observation or maybe a survey. After, we have to infer characteristics. Since we cannot, if for example we are studying, let's take this example. A researcher surveys 500 patients about medication adherence and generalize findings to the hospital's entire population. For instance, here, an hospital may have more than 500 patients, but in inferential approach, we don't have to interview all the patients of the hospital before having generalizing the finding. So that's why here we have the second part, infer characteristics. We have a sample of the population. Sample is what represents the entire population. And we have also what we call sampling techniques. We have sampling techniques when we don't have enough time to conduct the research on the entire population. We have to take a sample of that population, and so the sample should represent the global population, meaning that when you are conducting your research on the sample population, you can generalize the results or the findings to the global population. Okay. Thirdly, here we have the common application. Okay, this type of inferential approach is common in survey-based research. Okay, like this example, the survey about medication adherence. Yes. The second subtype, experimental approach. In experimental approach, the researcher controls the variables in a structured environment. In a structured environment, he observes effects on one variable on another, and that observations is using those observations. Let's say like that. Is by using those observations that he can now drive some findings or conclusion or results. For example, here we have testing a new vaccine's effectiveness under controlled environment. That's an experimental approach. When we are testing a new vaccine, we have maybe to take some some people, we have to take some people, and we have to administrate the vaccine. We have to administrate the vaccine, and now we have to follow up how are they reacting, how maybe the diseases inside, maybe if they are sick or not. We have to look at those variables while conducting the experimentations. Okay, the third type of quantitative approach is simulation approach. In simulation, we don't have a formal experience. We don't have maybe a formal subject like maybe a person or maybe an animal or something like that. In simulation, we are just working with computer, and we are working with computer models of that process. For example, we can model the spread of a disease using epidemiological data, or we can sometimes we can use mathematical models or mathematical equations to do that. Simulation approach is I can say is useful because through simulation approach we don't have to spend a lot of money. Yes, a lot of money. Just with your computer, you can have a model and then simulate it by let's say uh, giving to the model some variables, uh, some initial condition. You can simulate it. Okay, now the second main type of research approach, which the qualitative approach, we focus on subjective assessment of attitudes, opinions, and behavior. Results are non-numerical and rely on researchers' insights and interpretation. Common techniques, we are focused group interviews, depth interviews, projective techniques. For example, understanding patient anxiety through interviews rather than statistical surveys. And this type of approach is very popular in science, in social sciences. Yes, it's very popular there in social sciences like psychology, anthropology, and so on. Okay, we've just looked at the approaches of research. We have two approaches. We have quantitative approach and we have qualitative approach. Now we are looking at the types of research. The types of research. We have many types of research, but we'll just be looking at some. Yes, if you want all the types of research, you can refer to the main text. Yes, we have basic versus applied research. Basic versus applied research. In basic research, we seek fundamental understanding without immediate practical application. It expands theoretical knowledge and explores wide questions. That is like philosophy or theories, just theories. That's theoretical research. For example, studying quantum mechanics or maybe cellular biology. That is what we call basic research, or sometimes it's known as fundamental research. In fundamental research, the output is new theories. We have new theories whenever we are conducting a fundamental or basic research. Meanwhile, in applied research, we have to address specific and practical problems with direct real-world applications and solutions. For example, developing a new vaccine or improving manufacturing processes. Manufacturing processes. In applied research, we focus on solution to practical problem. Means that the output of an applied research is maybe we can say it's a product. It can be a product. It can be a service. Yes, it can be a product or a service. But we have a value, something that is tangible. Other types of research, we have qualitative and quantitative. Yes, it is true that those are also research approaches, but it's also included in research styles. We know already that in qualitative research, we explore the meaning, experiences, and perspective through interview, observation, and textual analysis. We have to answer how and why questions. But in quantitative research, we have to measure variables numerically, testing hypotheses through statistical analysis, and we have to answer these questions: how many, how much. That's the main difference. Okay, other research types. We have exploratory research, descriptive research. We also have experimental research. For exploratory research, we have to investigate new or poorly understood phenomena, to generate initial insights and identify key variables. That kind of research is used when little is known about the topic. For example, we we all know about COVID-19, and before COVID-19, before COVID-19 becomes popular, we didn't know many things about that disease. So the first researchers that conducted research on COVID-19 was mainly conducting exploratory research. Exploratory research generates hypotheses for future study. It is flexible and adaptable design. Okay. Another type of research is a descriptive research. In the descriptive research, we answer what, where, and when questions. And to do that, we use surveys, we use observations, and we can also use case studies. In descriptive research also, we do not manipulate variables. It's just a description of something that we are observing. Maybe we are observing the behavior, maybe the behavior of pigeon when it is rainy season. That is just observation. That's a descriptive research. Okay. We also have experimental research that we already know. Experimental research. Okay. Here is summarize the three type of research we just that we have just seen. We have exploratory, experimental, and descriptive. And here we have some medical example. We have said that in exploratory, the purpose is to understand a new phenomenon or a new problem. For example, like I was saying, doctors interview long COVID-19 or COVID patients to identify new symptoms and possible causes. That is an exploratory research. In experimental, we have in experience, we have to test hypotheses and establish cause and effect relationships. We have to establish them. For example, here we have researcher test a new hypertension drug versus placebo to measure its effectiveness. That is an experimental research. And the third type here, descriptive, just to describe characteristics or conditions as they exist. No variable manipulation. For example, here we have hospital records are analyzed to determine obesity prevalence amongst adults. That is a descriptive research. Okay. The research process. Any questions? We just learn yes, ABK. We are not getting you. Yes, we. Yes. Mhm. Okay. Yes, that is survey, but that is not a descriptive. And you can say that that is not the descriptive research. That's not the descriptive research because it depends on your goal. What's your goal? Let's say what's your goal when you are when you are conducting the survey. What's the goal? Because in descriptive research, we just collect data, but we don't have to, let's say, do some analysis. We can collect data, but we don't do analysis. We don't do analysis. For example, for example, uh, yesterday I sent a Google form. That is a research. That's a research, and I came out with some quantities. Whenever we come out with a quantity, that is not a description. That's already that's not a description. That is already experimental or quantitative types of research. So it depends on the goal of your research. But you should also note that uh, those types of research, how can I say it? How can I say it? It's not that if a research is quantitative, it cannot be qualitative. No, they can mix. We can have mixed types. We can have mixed types of research. So research can be descriptive, can be quantitative, experimental at the same time. I think that's that's clear. Is it okay? Any other question? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. I got you. No, the survey is just a tool that we use to conduct a research. It's just a tool. It's not the research. A research that I've said in the introduction when I was uh, giving the definition, the main definition of what a research is. I've said that research is not just gathering information. In a survey, we just gather information. I've made a survey for this lecture. I've gathered information and I think I've presented the result. But that is not all about the research. Now, the interpretation I gave, that's when I had the interpretation with the result, with the method that I've used. If, for example, I want to write a research paper or a research and uh, let's say I want to write a report on that research I've conducted. Can we call it a research? Yes, we can call it a research if I had the insight, if I had the interpretations of those data. For example, I've said that, let's back to that, let's go back to the results that we had. Okay, okay. For example, here I've conducted this survey, and this is a result. Now, if I just present the result, it's mere information. But now, for example, this result, I present the result and I give some insight and I give some conclusions. For example, to the question, what is your preferred language? We had 9 responses and 77.8% of the respondents chose English, meaning that the majority of, of the majority of this class comes from Anglophone milieu or are comfortable in speaking English. As the result, the main language of instruction for this class will be English. This is an analysis and interpretation of those data that I've gathered. Okay. Now, if I come to the next example, we still have 9 responses, and now I give some interpretation of those data. For example, I can say that the majority of the participants of this course are comfortable using Excel. That's already interpretation of the data. And now I can go further and say that that's what I've done. I went further and say that I advise you, because in research we have also to give our insights, and we have also to give advice. Sometimes we have also to give advice. I advise you to use Python or R or MATLAB, because Excel is limited when you have to work with large data sets. Okay, I think that now you see the main difference between uh, the information, the research, gather information, the survey that I've made. The survey was just a tools, but the research is what we have the tools to make the research. We have the questions. We have a question in the research, and we have interpretation in the research. That's what makes a research. Is it okay? Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. If we don't have any, okay. Okay. Now we'll be looking at the research process. The research process. As we said previously, research is structured, systematic, and in research we should have replicable methods. Here we have six steps to conduct a research. The first step here, the first step is identifying the problem. Identifying the problem. We have to define the research question. After defining the research question, we have to conduct a thorough literature review to understand existing knowledge and gaps. But practically to identify a problem, you just have to use the scientific methods. The first scientific method is observation. If you want to identify a problem, you can just observe around you or observe a phenomena, something like yes, observation. After you have observed, you can now define a question. When you have your question, you can go and conduct a literature review. In the literature you review, you have to gather a lot of information. Let's say information using it can be research paper, it can be books, it can be magazine, and so on. The goal of that is, first you have to get acquainted of the existence, what was done by other researchers, and also by doing that you have to find what remains to do, what is not yet done. That is where can you add, or what can I add, what can be my contribution. That's the gaps. That's the gaps. The second step, you have to design the study. You have to design the study. Here to design the study, we have to formulate a clear research questions. And you have also to formulate hypotheses, and by using those hypotheses will lead you to select appropriate methodology, sampling strategies, and data collection methods. Once you have designed the study, you have to collect the data. To collect the data, you have to use one of the methodology of the methods. Yes, of the methods in your study that you have designed. Yes, previously, based on your hypothesis. You have to gather, maybe you can gather information using interviews, or you can gather information by downloading them on online database that is collecting data. After data collection, you have to analyze the findings. And based on your research type, you can use statistical or qualitative techniques to identify patterns or test hypotheses. After the analysis, you have to interpret your results. After the analysis, you have the result, and you have to interpret those results and draw some conclusion. And the last step is disseminate the results, which is publishing the finding in academic journals or presenting them at scientific conferences. That's to share insights with relevant stakeholders and broader community. Okay. That's the same step that here we have a bit more details, formulating the research problem, conducting literature review, developing hypothesis, research design, sample design, data collection, project execution, data analysis, hypothesis testing, generalization and interpretation, and report writing and presentation. But you can just keep in mind those 6 steps, which are very easy to be remembered. Okay, research impacts. Quality research creates tangible value beyond academia, driving progress across multiple domains. We have seen already that which are the goals of the research: to drive innovation, to drive practical benefits, and societal relevance. Okay, the research impact journey. Research impact journey. We have the inputs here, and at the end we have the impacts, meaning that every research should have an impact. Here we have the inputs, what we need, activities, what we do, the outputs, which are the products of our research. We have the outcomes, that is the awareness and use of the outputs. And we have the impacts, which are the consequence of people using outputs. Okay, some key takeaway. Let's summarize this first chapter. Research is systematic. So research should be structured, evidence-based process for generating reliable knowledge and solving problems. We have many approaches. We can say we have 2 main approaches. We have quantitative approach and we have qualitative approach. Below, in quantitative approach, we have 3 subtypes: inferential, experimental, and descriptive approach. We also have many types of research. To conduct a research, since research is systematic, we have to follow the process, and we have seen the six steps of a research. We have 6 main steps to conduct a research. And the goal of research is to create impact. If you are ever published, or if you went through maybe a research paper or a research publisher, a journal publisher, a scientific journal publisher on the web, sometimes we will see that we measure impacts. We have in research milieu what we call the impact factor. And where that impact is great, it means that the journal, the scientific that publisher is we can say relevant. It's also it's prestigious. That publisher is prestigious. Is also relevant. Means that he does not publish something that's not useful, very useful for the scientific community. So in research, we run after the impact. We run after the impact. That's what we call research or impact factor. Okay, this is just a simple exercise. The simple exercise. We have to explore the emerging trends, and actually the AI and data science is let's say it's trending, it's a trend. Yes, and I want you, your task is to explain those concepts, these concepts in your own words, and discuss its potential application or impacts in your field of study. Consider both opportunities and challenges. I don't know if you have a master team or something like that. I don't know. You can explore your team. You can explore you can explore it. Yeah, you can explore your team and how artificial intelligence or machine learning or data science can be applied to maybe your team or your main subject or research interest or research topic. That's what I'm waiting from you. Okay, yes. I think let's say you can choose, but if you can do both, yes, it's okay. Yes, you can choose, but if it's both, it's also okay. Oh, it's next week. It's next week. Yes, next week Wednesday. I will I will upload that in the Moodle. I will upload that in the Moodle class. And also this lecture will be available on YouTube for those who are not able to attend. Okay, any other questions? We have come to the end of the first chapter. I wish to know if you have any question. You are free to talk. No question? Okay. If there's no questions, we'll just end here. Okay, let's next week. And if you have any concern or any other question, let me know in the WhatsApp group. Yes. Okay. Goodbye.